Hi everybody, that's Allie.
And that is Dash,
Welcome to our Playdate.
where we choose a game, sometimes make up our own rules, and play for a while.
Enjoy listening and playing along.
Or don't. We can't hear you. It's a podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome little ghosties.
Yeah, today we are going to play Cozy Juicy Real, and this is a game you backed on Kickstarter.
I did. I backed this game on Kickstarter a while back. They released a digital version, and they reached out to me when I told them that I had a podcast where we played games.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, well, you can play the digital version of this right now if you wanted to." But I passed because I feel that, like, for the podcast, we needed to get the actual game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we needed to. So as much as I would have liked to have play tested this ahead of time, digitally, I really wanted to play the physical version of this game, especially for the podcast, right? Because we do a video podcast, so it's very visual.
And this is sort of a mix of like a get to know you game and a board game, it sort of seems like.
Yeah.
So we're already breaking some of the rules.
Yes, we are.
Which are, you know, what happens in the game stays in the game. But
right. Yeah, one of the main rules is what happens in the game stays in the game, and no spectators, which is another big rule.
Yeah, we both consent to this happening. So
Yeah. I mean, look, it's pretty straightforward. You answer questions, you go around the board, you can pass at any time, and then you add up all the points that you have at the end.
Right. And there's different types of cards. So you draw a card based on whatever space you land on.
Yep.
And then we all have, what were these cards called again?
These are called spark points.
Spark points.
Yeah.
So these are things like, what about me? High fives, hugs, go deeper. And we give those to the other person. It gives them points, but it subtracts points from us if we keep them.
Right. Yeah. Which, you know what's funny, though, for a two-player game, I feel like regardless,
it counts. It's a lot of cards, yeah.
Well, but it's not just that it's a lot of cards, but because it's a two-player game, like if I give you a 20, it's the same as me removing 20 from my score.
Yeah.
So essentially it balances itself out. But I guess we'll see how it ends. So whatever. You know what the nature of our podcast is we play by our own rules. So we'll see. And we're not really about winning or losing here. We're about the journey that we take.
I'm about winning. So Dash gets to go first because the rule is whoever's birthday is coming up. Dash's birthday.
Yeah.
Both of our birthdays are very far away, but Dash's is sooner than mine.
Slightly sooner, yeah.
Yes.
And because I'm on a green space, we start out with the cozy card, which is green. And it says here, what's one thing you love and one thing you'd love to change about your daily routine? Okay, so one thing I love about my daily routine is my morning coffee. If you know me, you know I get my morning coffee at Wawa every day. It is delicious. I have figured out a way to make coffee that tastes like cereal milk.
Great job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yes, I get the Wawa Colombian coffee. And then I use the French vanilla non-dairy creamer and 2 packets of Splenda. And that makes it taste like cereal milk.
Wow.
When I discovered that, it was like, yes. So that is called the Dash. So if you want to go to your local Wawa and get the Dash, it is Colombian coffee, dairy-free French vanilla creamer, and 2 packets of Splenda. Delicious. And one thing I'd love to change about my daily routine is the commute to work.
Yeah.
I swear, if I could work from home and then just, like, if I could go in once or twice a week just to hang out with the people that I work with, because they're wonderful people, that would be great. But I hate the commute there.
Commutes are draining.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's draining. It's draining. Dash, I'm going to give you a high five.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that high five.
Great job on your secret recipe.
Thank you.
All right.
And it says I move 1 space on the card. So I'm going to take my Sleepy Panda card and move it 1 space.
All right. So cozy card for me. Imagine you could magically bring a fictional character into real life.
Ooh.
Who do you choose and why? This is the worst possible question. There are so many. Fictional character, bring them into real life. Oh my gosh, there's so many that I would pick from. You know what?
Yes.
I'm actually surprised I'm saying this, but this just what popped into my head first. Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights. He's just like a sad,
Really?
just a sad, broken boy, and I associate him with Heath Ledger because Heath Ledger was actually named after Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights, and so like I associate them, and that would mean that Heath Ledger came back to life, which would be fantastic. So I'll say that. And why? I think he's like just this beautiful, sad, broken boy, which speaks to me in some way.
I want to say he's the original I can fix him guy, right?
He is like maybe not the original
because he's got like farm boy muscles, you know what I mean? Like
he's just and also
he's kind of rough and tumble.
The book has a special place in my heart because it took me 3 tries to read it. Like I tried to read it, I think when I was in high school, and I was like, nah. And then I tried to read it again when I was like later in high school, and I was like, nah. And then finally I got into it in college, and I read it so quickly, and I was like, this beautiful broken boy, I love him. I love him so much. So right now I'm gonna say Heathcliff, but there's a million.
I had to keep
there
diagram
are a million
for that
characters
book, just to keep track of all the characters.
There's really only 2, Heathcliff and Catherine.
I'm gonna play the "What About Me" card.
Okay.
Because I want to answer this question.
Great.
And I am going to say that I want to bring Stitch from Lilo and Stitch into the real world because he's adorable.
Agree. I feel like he would be a really cuddly cat.
Sort of, yeah, but
like
anthropomorphic, so he can like talk back and has,
My cats talk.
Yeah, your cats do talk. Yeah. They say whatever you want them to say. Okay, so I'm on the orange and green. So I get to pick either juicy or cozy. I'm gonna go.
And the cards have different point values, so that's why there's a little strategy involved here. So juicy is worth.
I'm gonna go for juicy, which is worth 40 points. Right. What is something that you used to dream about that is now a part of your reality?
Oh, what a good question.
That is a great question. Oh, that's such a... See, and this is what I was talking about in one of our previous episodes. Is like questions like these that now live in my brain are such great ways to get to know somebody brand new, right? Being a professional wrestler, honestly. Like when I grew up and I used to watch WWE or WCW, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could do what they do. And then I did. Right. And I got pretty high up there as far as my career goes, won a few titles. I became the main guy at a few companies. Like I was into the PWI top 500, which was a huge milestone for me.
What's PWI?
Pro Wrestling Illustrated is a magazine that comes out, and every year they release one issue where they rank the top 500 professional wrestlers in the country. And I was ranked 386 was the highest I was ever ranked, which, just to be in the top 500 in the world, that's huge. So, at the peak of my career, having been ranked 386 in the PWI, which was a dream and a goal of mine, was phenomenal. And, of course, now my brother works for one of the top 2 companies, so I have an in there, and like I feel like I know people and stuff like that, and that's it's a dream and it's come true, and it's freaking awesome. Yeah. And this says I get to move 2 spaces and I get 40 points.
And I'm gonna give you another high five.
And high five, thank you for that high five.
I was gonna give you a go deeper, but then
I
you
went
did.
deeper.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, this guy.
Listen, I always go deeper when I know it needs to happen.
Okay, so I landed on.
Oh wait, was that? Oh, sorry, that was yours. You were there, and I.
Space Dog.
Okay, I just moved yours, I think.
Yes, yeah, because I landed on an orange.
Yeah, and I moved, so I have to move 2 spaces forward. 1, 2. Okay.
So orange is juicy.
Yeah, and then you don't have a choice here. You have to go for juicy because yours is just an orange space.
When's the time you've been adventurous, and what was it like for you? I don't feel. I feel like I'm not a spontaneous person, but I am an adventurous person.
Okay, yeah.
I like planned adventures. But I feel like I'm a pretty adventurous person. When I travel, I try to like say yes to things. I've been skydiving, which I think is a pretty adventurous thing to do. I try to be adventurous with food.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Although with I'll try just about anything. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily gonna like it, but I will certainly give it a try.
You definitely have a more of an iron stomach than I do.
It's not even about iron stomach. It's just like I'm never gonna know what it's like unless I try it.
That's a good point.
Doesn't mean I have to eat it for the rest of my life. You know.
Yeah.
And if a situation presents itself where I can have like one bite of the thing,
sure,
great.
Yeah.
I will.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love it. I think being adventurous is great. Obviously, set boundaries for yourself. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. But like, if it feels okay, do it. Eat the weird thing, or like, jump out of the airplane with a Australian man named Aiden strapped to your back and a parachute on.
That's awfully specific.
It's all fine.
Here you go. I'm giving you a high five for that.
Thank you.
Very nice.
So that was 4 spaces.
4 spaces. 2, 3, 4. You get to move a lot of spaces more than I do.
Yeah, and I like that I'm landing on the single color spaces, so I don't have to make a decision about which one to pick.
I landed on another orange and green one, and I'm going to go for juicy because that's what we're here for. We're not here for the comfortable questions.
We're here for the juicy
We're here for
questions.
the juice. Of all the things you learned from your first significant relationship, what is one that comes to mind? Okay. It's all right, I'm gonna get real. It's okay to say no to things.
Yeah.
And if they're the type of person who makes you feel like saying no will be a detriment to that relationship, then that's probably not a person you should be with. You know, and on top of that, if everyone around you who is close to you and loves you sees something in that person that you don't, you may want to believe them.
Yes.
Right? Like, I get that sometimes people are up to no good, right? But if everyone you know is like, hey, it's a little suspicious the way she keeps hanging out with this guy, or, hey, I kind of saw them talking a little closely to each other, you know, maybe you want to look into that. Chances are they're probably right because they're also looking at it from the outside.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want this to be just anybody. Like, a random person you meet at a bar tells you something like, oh, you shouldn't trust your girl or your guy because this. That's not the case. But if, like, your best friend who's been around you forever says, hey, this is kind of seeming sort of suspicious, they love you, they care about you, they may have the right intentions in mind, just look into it. You don't have to believe them 100%, but look into it.
Just, yeah, right? Like, put it in your brain and proceed with caution.
Caution,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
I like that.
So those two things.
I think that's solid
1,
advice.
2, 3, 4.
I'm going to give you courage.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Courage.
Yeah, courage. Courage.
Courage. All
It
right.
takes courage.
So I landed on a random guess yes or no. What do you think? Does every player in this group have a tattoo or body piercing? Every player, no. Tattoo or body piercing?
Yes.
Yes, because you have piercings, I have piercings and tattoos.
Uh-huh.
So yes.
So yes, everybody.
I mean, I just knew the answer.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so then wait. So then it says after choose from orange or yellow.
Orange or yellow?
Yeah. So instead of moving, it says after choose from orange or yellow. So we haven't done a red. I'm sorry. Red or yellow.
Red or yellow.
So we haven't done a red, right?
No.
Okay, I'll do a red. In what area of your life would you most welcome support and why? Ooh. Most welcome support. I would really like to find a stronger like playwriting community.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good creatives down here. But I also I really want someone to give me clear and objective feedback on some of the writing that I'm doing.
Right.
And I feel like people often don't do that because they're like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, or I don't want this, or it's not my taste, or whatever. But like, I'm a grown up and I can really, I can take it. I promise.
You're also a teacher, so you like to give out that information as much as you like to get it.
I give feedback for a living, and I know that there's a part of this is also, I think a lot of people don't know how to give feedback effectively, so it does kind of come off in a wrong way. But I'm in a professional space such that like I'm not going to take it as a personal insult to me. I'm going to take it as a critique of the work.
Yeah.
Which is an extension of me, but it is not me. So, yeah, I would really like someone to just read my plays and be like, this is great. This is trash. Make this better. This is
Yeah, sure.
pointless.
Right.
And then, yeah, that's what I would like.
Nice. I forgot to play this
Ooh,
before.
6 spaces.
I forgot to play this. That's a lot of spaces. Wow.
Yeah,
I forgot to play this
answer 2
before.
questions.
But to my question, what about you? I'm giving you that card.
It's too late. We've
No,
moved
it
on.
isn't. You can
Yes,
play
it is.
you can play these cards at any time, and I haven't taken my next turn yet.
No.
So come
But
on.
the question's gone already.
all right, fine.
We have a new question.
Fine.
And my question before that was about tattoos, which you already know the answer to. So.
No, I do. But my question was, what was something
too
you
late.
learned about your great significant relationship? Damn it.
Too late.
All right, fine.
Missed out.
I did. All right. Red or green? I'm going to do a reel. What's something beautiful in your life right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Too.
And what about it are you appreciating? Okay. There's a lot of beautiful things in my life right now. So I think the answer to that one is just the entire year of 2023. I feel like a lot of times we look back on our year or whatever and we say, oh, I can't wait for this year to be over. Oh, I can't wait for the new year. Oh, I can't wait for this next thing, right? This is one of those years where, yes, a few bad things happen. You know, there were family health issues, but all of those got resolved, thank goodness.
And none of them were.
And none of them were
Serious.
super
Right.
bad or serious or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Or they could have been, but they ended up not being.
Right.
Right. You know, again, I got COVID again this year. But it wasn't as serious as it was the first time. And there's obviously medications and stuff like that you can take now to help it. But this year has been an overall great year. Like if I had to chart the positives and the negatives, the positives would be like up here and the negatives would be here. Whereas other years, they tend to be a little bit more even.
Right.
But this year was just an overall in the win column. You know, like I
Yay.
graduated with my bachelor's. I got a promotion.
High five.
High five for me. Thank you. I graduated with my bachelor's. I got a promotion. I finally lost the weight that I've been trying to lose for the better part of my 30s, you know, and it came in right at the end. I slid in sideways into my 40s, having lost the amount of weight I've been trying to lose since I was 31. You know, finally, like all the things that we tried for me to lose weight, we finally found one that worked, and I'm still in that process now, but I've made a great significant improvement in that regards. We have made great headway on this podcast. We're made it to 100 episodes.
Yeah.
You know, we did more improv this year than the year before.
And I think we literally have like 100 games that we haven't played that we still have.
Right. Yeah. We have amassed a great. We were like, oh yeah, we don't have to buy new games. We could just replay some of the old ones, and then
we did an out of state festival. That
we did an
haven't
out of state
done
festival that we hadn't done before. That
Mhm.
was a great time. We finally did a joint event with Conundrum Stages and This Is Improv,
Sure.
which we've been talking about doing since the pandemic. Just so many good things this year. You know, I got to hang out with my friends a bunch, to watch wrestling shows. I got to go backstage at an All Elite Wrestling show this year, which is amazing. Just such a good time, man. This has been a great year. And I honestly, having the mentality of saying yes to things and being positive about things and just wanting more for yourself and just trying to, somebody once said, just try to be the best version of you possible and success and love will follow. And I feel like that's true. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I got to spend more time with my best friend this year and we got to travel some. I took my first flight since the pandemic, which I
Nice.
haven't done since then. It's just such a great year. So that's a very beautiful thing that's happening in my life right now. Just a lot of positivity, a lot of great things. And I hope all the best for this coming year, right? We're just getting started into 2024 and I want lots of great things in this new year and I hope to manifest those, not just manifest it by wishing they'll happen, but by making them happen.
Yeah. That's
Right?
great.
Yeah.
I love that. Good for you.
Yeah. What about you, Allie?
What's a beautiful thing that's in my life right now? Was that the question?
Yes.
I have a lot of endings in 2023. So I think that means 2024 is going to be some beginnings, which is exciting. I always love, I love being on break right now, I have to say. But I do love the anticipation of a new semester coming up. I always am excited to figure out, who these human beings are going to be in front of me, and what are they going to be like, and what are they going to be into, and what are they navigating, and what are they about. So that's great. And then professionally, I think that's probably the most beautiful thing that's really been happening. Is I had a really tough year last academic year, and this one it's vastly different. I'm feeling a lot of like really good vibes. I'm kind of receiving some really positive energy in a lot of different areas of my professional life, which is always just nice. I'm finally kind of over that imposter syndrome-y kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And so now that I feel like that's together and I'm focusing on the beauty and the positivity there, it spills over into all of these other areas of my life too,
Yeah. Here, I'm going to give you a hug.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that card and not an actual hug. I appreciate that a lot, actually.
It's your move.
So I'm on red or yellow.
And we're coming near the end here.
I'll do red again just because it's worth more points. When's a time in your life you felt deeply alive? Wow. Ooh. I recently was like, this is living. Like, this is really what living is about. I feel really alive actually when I am running.
Okay.
Just in general.
Okay.
I think that's part of the reason why I still do it, even though, my knee hurts all the time and I'm not running super long distances. I'm not really doing races anymore. It really does make me feel alive. Like you're outside, you're in your body, your feet are like hitting the pavement. And so that makes me know that I'm alive, right?
Yeah.
But I think in a more like metaphorical, metaphysical sense, I've told this story on the pod before, but I was on a rooftop in Greece overlooking the whole city. I was literally in the highest spot that you could be in a residential area.
Okay.
On a hill on the top floor.
Is it like DC where they don't want things to be over a certain height?
Yeah, yeah. Buildings can only be a certain height in particular areas.
That's awesome. I think
so
we
it was literally the highest point that you could be in the city.
Okay.
I was with a bunch of people that I just spent a whole bunch of time with. They were all super cool. It was sort of the end of this time that we were spending together, and we were just like drinking wine and listening to Whitney Houston and dancing around and like singing karaoke. And it was just like one of those moments where you're just like, this is it. Like, this is what life is about. This is what it means to be alive. If life stopped right here, it's perfect.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That really is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to give you a thing.
Highly recommend.
I'm going to give you a high five for that one.
Thank you.
That deserved a high five.
Thanks.
I should have been a hug, but I already used my hug.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, wait. How many am I supposed to move for that? Ooh, 5.
Oh, that's it. You're into
really
the.
Getting it.
Yeah, you're into the lightning. Okay, I get so. You're into
really
lightning.
Really high points, yeah. And so now I'm in the lightning round.
Which means I get one more round to try to catch up. Let's see, orange or red. I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like I'm behind. So I'm gonna go. We haven't done a lot of juicies, so I'm gonna do a juicy. When's a time you worked on a project that was important or meaningful for you, and what about it made it meaningful? Fascinating. Okay.
That feels more real than juicy, but
yeah. When is a time you worked on a project that was important or meaningful for you? Oh, okay. So, I've worked on a lot of like big live event situations.
Yep.
So like being in production, I've worked on live events like.
Are you in production?
I am in production. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if anybody told you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I work in production, And so I've worked on big like commencement ceremonies. I've worked on big Hall of Fame ceremonies. I've worked on beginning of the year convocation ceremonies. I've worked on wrestling events, et cetera, et cetera. There was a time where I was performing in, but I was also backstage production for a pro wrestling show called Lucha Fest. And we were doing this show in Miami High, which is one of I think it's the oldest high school
It's
in
up
the
there,
state.
yeah.
And
1920, I think.
it's very old. It was, I think they celebrated their centennial not that long ago. So, it was in Miami High. It's in the Miami High, what they call their asylum, their gymnasium or whatever. And we decked it all out. And I put up lights and ran cables and we had camera stuff and everything all set up. So that was pretty par for the course. That's nothing I haven't done before. However, this one particular show in this venue, this huge venue that was filled with over 300, 400 people. I forget what the actual number was. But it was one of the biggest wrestling crowds we've ever had. This particular show was featuring Gangrel, or Dave Heath, as some of us know him now, who was from...
Is that a wrestler?
That's a wrestler from the 90s era WWE, and he used to play the vampire Gangrel. So one of the coolest things about Gangrel was his entrance. The lights would go out, the music would hit, everything would be red, there would be red strobing lights. It was... Seeing Gangrel come out is an experience, right? I got to produce that entrance. Because there's also this really cool part where he walks up on the ramp. He has like a cup filled with quote unquote blood. He drinks it and then spits it out into like a fine red mist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a super cool entrance. And the fact that I grew up in the 90s watching him do this entrance, and now I'm the one producing this entrance to make it so the music hits and it's like dun, 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 and the music hits and he comes out and everything is red and pitch black. And dude, it was awesome. It was an awesome moment to have worked on that, to have produced it, to have it go off without a hitch. Just to me, that was like huge, to have grown up watching this happen and
That's
then being
awesome.
the person who produced
Yeah,
it.
that's really awesome.
Yeah. So that was an awesome moment for me. And this is 5 spaces, which puts me also in lightning.
All right.
All right. So we get to do the lightning round.
So remind me how lightning round works again. You read the directions. not
Oh,
me.
I did read the directions and now I forgot.
Pause for directions.
Pause for directions, which we're not actually going to pause. We're just going to keep this going. Okay. The lightning round says, also, while we're here, I got some expansion packs. So I got the Really Real, which goes even deeper. And my favorite part about this is it says shuffle before use on the back.
We love shuffling.
Yeah, which we
What
love.
a pro shuffling podcast.
Yeah. Okay, lightning round. So the lightning round says, okay, once all players have joined the lightning space, the group
Check.
enters the lightning round.
Check.
Starting with the player who landed there first,
Me.
you. Each player draws 1 lightning card and follows the instructions on their card.
Okay.
After the lightning round, the game ends. Okay,
Got it.
we could have just literally picked up a lightning card and done whatever it said.
Okay, so guess. Guess right, keep the points. Guess wrong, discard. Of the following options, what kind of movies does the player to your left,
Which is me.
which is you're really to my right, but I guess if you swing around far enough, you're to my left. Love the most? Rom-coms, superhero battles, political documentaries, or mind-boggling thrillers? Superhero battles.
I would say yeah.
More than the others, yes.
Yeah, more than the others, yes.
It's not your favorite, but
Right.
definitely of those 4, of rom-coms, superhero battles, political documentaries, and mind-boggling thrillers, that's the one.
Yep, you are correct.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right, and then...
Puntos.
Puntos.
Para mí.
Para usted. Okay, guess. Guess right, keep the points. Guess wrong, discard the card off the
Actually,
board.
wait.
What?
Can I say what about me? You guess it about me.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to guess for you, what are the options again?
Rom-coms, superhero battles, political documentaries, or mind-boggling thrillers?
I'm going to say mind-boggling thrillers out of those options.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
or superhero battles, but...
Sure, but I feel like you like the, this was insane more than the superhero movies.
Wait, he was dead the whole time?
Yeah, we're not going to spoil what movie that is for you, but
Yeah, well, it's a secret.
he was dead the whole time.
He was dead the whole time. Okay, it was Harry Potter. I'm just kidding. It was not. It was not Harry Potter.
No. If the player to your left, which actually is you, had to take on one of the challenges, which would they choose? Number 1, performing at an open mic night. Number 2, skydiving at sunset. Number 3, running a marathon. Number 4, looking after 10 kittens for a week. This is not fair. Because you would easily take on any of these challenges.
Some of them I have done.
Some of them you have done already, yeah.
Well, I've done a half marathon, so that's I've already done that.
Yeah.
Full no.
You've done skydiving, I'm assuming near or at sunset.
It was in the day, but
you would skydive
time of
at
day
sunset.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Time of day does not matter.
Would you perform at an open mic night? Absolutely. In fact, you've talked about wanting to do it. And would you look after 10 kittens for a week? Oh, come on.
I wouldn't look after them. I would just sit in a box and let them run all over me. Maybe that's really what it is.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be looking. It would just be me smothering 10 kittens for a week, and the kittens begging to be released.
Yeah. All right. So here's my guess. My guess is all 4. You would do all 4.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do all 4.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep those points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
fine
it.
with that.
Lightning round is over. So we're going to pause for math. All right, so I've counted my points. I had forgotten about the negatives, but I went back. Okay, so Allie, what is your score?
290 points.
My score is 220 points.
Ooh,
So
Allie wins.
Allie wins. Good job. Right. Yeah, because the point of this game is
KO.
you have your points, but then any spark cards that you didn't use, like the high fives or the hugs or the courage, you have to remove from your score. So I had to go back and do some negative counting. But so Allie,
we call negative
wins.
Counting subtraction.
That's
what we call that.
I've heard it both ways. Haven't used that one in a while. I had to do it. Yeah.
All right, let's rate this real quickly.
Okay, real quickly. The box.
The box is giving one of those square puzzles that you have to put all the pieces in to make it into a square.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
I love the box. I love that they tell you where to put everything. I love that within the box is a travel
version of the game
that you can just throw in your bag. I love that.
You have the inside all of the separations of the game tell you what to put in there, so you can never put things in the wrong way. So you have your random cards, your lightning cards, and then all your other ones. Yeah,
I really appreciate
the
that.
box itself has spot UV coating on it. It's very subtle, but it's there. So some parts of the box are glossy.
It's giving a beautiful wooden square puzzle.
Yeah,
we
very
love
cool.
it.
I like it. And yeah, it comes with this travel version. So like if you just toss it in a bag, you just put the cards in there and go.
Cards. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I do have to say there's a lot of cards.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily love that the lightning round ones are a different shape than the rest.
I get that.
Just bothers me slightly. But I think they're super well designed. I really like the font. I love the questions. Questions are great.
Questions are fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that the spark cards are here, and they have the front and back tells you what they are, how many points they are, and what they're for. Yeah. They're, let's see. I'm going to give them those cards that you would put on your bicycle spokes so that when you rode, it went. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to give it that.
Yeah. Fun. I love that it's both, playability, right? I love that it's both a board game and
a card game,
a kind of get to know you card game. And
you could do both. So because when you take the travel version, you don't have to take the board.
I think you would have to play it with the right people that you know are not going to take it outside of that moment. Although we didn't get anything that was too like a scandalo, but
they might be in there. You never know.
They might be in there. Yeah, we've seen a very little bit of this game, and the rule book is big. It is big, but it's not intimidating. We actually got through it. It's a lot more intimidating to look at than it is to actually
it's a lot of illustrations.
Read through what the rules are.
I thought it was like, oh man, there's gonna be nothing but rules, but no, it's a lot of illustrations, which helps.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to play. Yeah, I would give it it's like a hopscotch level.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a hopscotch. Fun. I had a good time. I really like that it's a blend of both, and I like. Oh, I like the wooden pieces too. I forgot to say that.
That's right. Yeah, the game pieces are little wooden chips that have images burned onto them. So Allie was a space dog, and I was a
Sleeping
sleepy
panda.
astronaut panda.
Yeah. And the board is kind of like flag material, which I think is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
fabric, which is very cool.
It's not gonna like get torn apart like a board game sometimes does. You know?
Right? Yeah. Like when you find it at Goodwill a few years from now, it's not
Exactly.
going to be torn in half.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
What a good Kickstarter back.
Yeah,
Nice job, Dash.
I figured
Good
this would
pick.
be a great game for the podcast because
Good pick.
you know, it's very conversation starter and it has a beginning and an end that we have to, you know,
Yeah.
get to.
Great pick. Thumbs up for Cozy Juicy Reel.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, little ghosties.
Yeah, thank you. And we hope to catch you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Now we'd love to hear from you.
You can visit playdatepod.us to watch our videos,
Access our episode library,
find out more about our brand of quality, clean comedy.
and contact us with any questions or comments.
Improvisers love audience suggestions, so make sure you visit playdatepod.us.
And the podcast you just heard was a production of Society Circus Players.
If you like what you heard today, please rate, review, subscribe, and share it with a friend.
And finally, if life's a circus, we're the clowns!
Okay.
I would rather buy a new game than put those back in the box.
Yeah. How quickly can Amazon deliver a new game so that we don't have to put
So
this
you backed on Kickstarter.
that I backed on Kickstarter?
So it's not associated with Amazon.
Right, not
But
associated
anyway.
with Amazon at all.